Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Albandian. I am the coordinator for ISAR 2022, which is happening August 25th through the 29th. It's going to be held in Westminster, Colorado, which is right between Denver and Boulder. So it'll be at the Weston and Westminster, lots of W's. So you can go to isar2022.org to get all the information you need to also register. We are going to be there. It's going to be exciting. Our tagline is joining hearts and minds, which is we have every intention of doing at that time. Today, I'm with my colleague, Becca Tarnas. Welcome, Becca.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you taking time. I know astrologers today are very busy folk, lots of things to do. So everyone, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Becca. If you don't know who she is, you might recognize the last name for sure. So Becca has a PhD and is a scholar, artist, and editor of Akai, the journal of, is it Asai or Akai?
It's archive, actually, like archetype, archive.
It is archive. Skip that R right in there. The Journal of Archetypal Cosmology. She received her doctorate from the California Institute of Integral Studies, CIIS, with her dissertation titled The Back of Beyond, the Red Books of C.G. Jung and J.R.R. Tolkien. She teaches at both Pacifica Graduate Institute and CIIS and is the author of the book Journey into the Imaginal Realm. She lives in Nevada City, California, where she has an astrological counseling practice. So you've certainly been lecturing at other conferences, but this, I think, will be your first ISAR, will it not?
This will be my first ISAR. And I was realizing that it was actually 4 years ago that I came up for the idea for this talk, and I'm glad that it'll still be relevant. So I'm really excited to attend this conference. And for me, at least, it'll be the first in-person event that I've done since before the pandemic.
Yeah. That leads me to my question. What do you think? Are you excited? I mean, you've already expressed a level of excitement. I mean, we haven't really seen our friends except in this sort of virtual format. Yeah. So what do you think?
I'm really excited about it. And I think I'm also holding a certain level of caution as well. I will, it's a new area that we're entering into. How do we work with these dynamics? And so I'm really looking forward to being in person. And there's a number of people that I've formed beautiful relationships with in the astrological community who I have never met in person, or I've only met in person maybe once or twice. And I'm really looking forward to just that full experience of when you encounter someone that you've already developed more of an intellectual rapport with. But at the same time, I think I'm holding that pull as well of, wanting everyone to be safe and healthy and all the things that we desire of, opening back up, of course.
That's the thing. Of course, we want to be careful. We want to be mindful and respectful of other people's boundaries and their concerns and so on. So that's what we intend to do. And the interesting quality of the last 2 years of engaging with the astrological community, only from a virtual reality, has in fact led to this experience of developing friendships and relationships with people only in that virtual world. And so hopefully for folks coming to ISAR, they'll be able to come together with their friends, their new friends, their virtual friends, and create even a deeper bond. It's very exciting.
It really is. And I can only imagine how much work it takes on your end to put something of that scale together. So yeah, my admiration very much goes out to you and the teams you're working with.
Well, I do have a team. It cannot be done alone. And I have a lot of experience running conferences. I've been doing it for a lot of years. I can't even think how many, but I've run a number of big conferences. So I do have the experience, and it's great. I love bringing these kinds of events to fruition and seeing the connections that are happening, because for me, everything's about connection, everything. right? So you're doing a lecture on Saturday, the 27th. It'll be at 11 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And it's on, again, the archetypal imagination of J.R.R. Tolkien. So tell us why it would be something we'd want to attend, and what could we get from it?
Well, my original idea for the talk was related to the 2020 theme for the conference of reimagining the future. And I was so drawn in by that theme because my own scholarship has been around the nature of the imagination. What is the imagination? And recognizing that we can have these very profound imaginal or visionary experiences that will often go on to inform people's artwork, their literature, their creative expressions. And I'm a scholar of Tolkien's work, so that felt like a natural fit. And then being an astrologer, these are my two streams of knowledge and interests that I really wanted to try and bridge, bringing these two together. And Tolkien's work, he's the author of The Lord of the Rings and other tales of Middle Earth. And there's a wide group of individuals who are really drawn to those stories and kind of very inspired by what he can ignite in the imagination. And so I'm going to be focusing on 3 astrological layers in the presentation. I want to look at Tolkien's birth chart. And so really unpack, well, what are the planetary archetypes that are informing his stories? What can we recognize there? And I'll do it in such a way that for people who are very familiar with the stories, they'll get a deeper insight. For people who are maybe new to Tolkien, it's one of my favorite things to kind of lure someone in. So this is also a talk, hopefully, that will be interesting for people who maybe haven't explored Tolkien's work, but are like, I've heard of this and maybe I can learn some more. And then I want to look at his personal transits at certain key moments in his creation process, as well as the world transits, particularly around the publication of The Lord of the Rings, just to really give that context. And beyond Tolkien as an individual, the reason I'm creating this presentation in this forum is really to inspire writers and artists and other creatives to be able to time their own works with similarly supportive or inspirational transits. And so for people who maybe have some creative project brewing, but they don't quite know what the window is to step into to really allow that to flourish, either in their own life, with their personal transits, or especially on the world stage with the collective transits. And so it goes beyond just studying Tolkien as an individual to really ask, well, how can we use and participate in astrology to actually cultivate our own creativity? So that's kind of where it's going.
I think that's brilliant, right? I really do. Number one, his work is foundational to a vast majority of people in their lives. My children actually were read his works when they were 3 and 4 and were absorbed by it. So it's foundational to their memories of their childhood, of their father reading to them and just being mesmerized by the world that he had created. So I know there are many other people who have that his work, that Tolkien's work was foundational or important or informed their life in some way, or they draw from it in terms of metaphor and archetypes. But even more brilliant, and that's one piece. And then the brilliance that you brought in at the end, which is, okay, how can we then apply, by looking at the transits, his chart, and then the transits to his chart, how can we apply those archetypes and those transits, how can we apply them to our lives and our work, right? Because we're all creating something, and there's a lot of astrologers who are putting out work, right? And it may not be astrologers. They may be astrologers that are counseling clients who are writing books or manuscripts or whatever it might be. So I think that's brilliant. Excellent.
Oh, thank you. I'm really looking forward to offering it.
Great. So everyone, don't miss out. Go to ISAR2022.org and register for the conference and join us in August, where there is a plethora of topics for you to choose from, and 100 speakers. And so you can see your favorite authors and speakers and have a great deal of fun. So I'm excited. I know everyone else is. And Becca, thank you. And I will see you in August.
Thank you as well. Looking forward to seeing you and everyone else in August.